Hey everybody, welcome back to the fitresponder. Apologize, it's been an awful long time since I've done a video post. We've been busy with the book and writing articles and busy at work. So we're back for a short blurb here on some functional training. A concept that seems to be consistently getting missed and or mistaken in whether it be my writing style or people's interpretation of what I'm writing, or just the fact that what is old school is still comfortable for everybody. So I want to go a little bit into the effects that postural patterns and repetitive motion and repetitive postural strain will have on your body. And I'm going to make this simple with an example. Um, a coworker of mine who is he's a paramedic. He's also a SWAT medic. He also happens to be one of the most dangerous human beings I know. The fact that he's been doing martial arts for at least 13, 14 years. Very, very serious, incredible martial artist. I've seen him in action, and I definitely would not want to be in the receiving end of anything he throws at. But he came out to the field with us this past week. And our field workouts, I'll brag a little here, are very, very intense. We're talking heart rate consistently spiking in the 170s to 180s. Very difficult drills, kind of paramilitary agility style type training, not for the faint of heart. Um, I had assumed, because of this gentleman's fitness background and in as many years as he's been doing a lot of these complicated martial arts drills, and I've seen him in the gym. He doesn't exercise properly, like nobody does, unfortunately. And I've corrected him here and there. But I made the assumption, and we all know what happens when you assume, that he'd be able to at least have the active flexibility to do some of the drills. I knew he wouldn't have the anaerobic capacity to do it. That takes time and consistent training. But I was still amazed at some simple movements we were doing that involved squats and lunges with, granted, we had an 80-pound kettlebell, which he was not used to using. But just the basic mechanical patterns I was watching, he'd go into a squat and his ankles would turn in. And we would do a reverse lunge with medicine ball press, which is a very functional movement, great for hip flexor flexibility, great for balance, helps keep the pelvic component very, very loose and strong at the same time, great injury prevention. And I was amazed at his absolute lack of functional movement. Obviously, from years and years of kicking movements and unfortunately years and years of sitting, as in the ambulance, his hip flexors have become kind of a double-edged sword. They are incredibly strong, but at the same time, they're also incredibly tight. So watching him run, he has a leg that likes to kick out, rotate off to the side. As I mentioned, his calves are tight, causing his ankles to turn in, which is a very common pattern, but also one that leads to injury very quickly. And the sheer lack of functional movement he had in his hip flexors. And again, I had made that assumption that this gentleman would be able, just from a flexibility standpoint, to go through these drills. So the point of my ramblings here are simple. Because of your career, whether you are police, fire, medic, SWAT, EMT, Homeland Security, it doesn't matter. Anything that you do from a repetitive fashion, whether it be sitting, sports, certain exercises, standing for long periods of time, walking for long periods of time, sitting and leaning forward for long periods of time, they all, over a progressive amount of time, anywhere from a few weeks to years, will definitely lead your body down a path that is not healthy. And if you consistently choose exercises and movements that actually reinforce those patterns, and the example I just gave, I hope makes sense now, that this gentleman who has been doing kicking movements for years, so his hip flexors are very, very strong, and he sits for long periods of time, so his hip flexors are very, very tight. And guess what? He is a back and knee injury waiting to happen, because everything he does reinforces the movements that he shouldn't be doing. So essentially, he's making the problem worse. Now, he doesn't do it on purpose. And, like I said, I give him credit because he came out there, he hung with us, and it's not an easy workout. But I sent him home with some corrective strategies, some self-massage for his glutes and his calves, and talked to him a little bit about some stretching activities he could do, when he prior to doing his martial arts. And again, easy to fix when it's identified before it becomes a problem. So the point of my rambling is simple: step back and take a look at yourself. If you've been following the blog, been following some of the videos, or if you've been, the many folks that have purchased the Fit Responder book, the self-screens, the self-movement tests, and the postural patterns that I go into depth in the book go into what we just talked about. So take a step back, look at your training program. If you sit for long periods of time and you are doing crunches, straight leg raises, back extensions, and a lot of pushing movements, i.e. chest, shoulder presses, chest flies, cable flies, that kind of stuff. Or if you choose to exercise sitting down and you sit mostly for your living, which most of us in public safety do, you are making the problem worse. So, all the doom and gloom being, what it is, be smart. The whole point of my writing and the whole point of the blog and the whole point of the book is to prevent these problems before they become a problem. So keep checking in. I'm going to keep writing about this on EMS 1 and EMS Responder, and Police 1 is now copying some of my older articles from EMS Responder site, and you will see me on the speaking circuit soon. I've got two lectures coming up at the end of this year. So again, I appreciate you guys checking in. Be smart, train smart, protect your bodies now before you're broken, or if you're already broken, let's make sure you don't get broken again. Thanks, guys.